Chaser Report is recorded on Gadigal land.
Striving for mediocrity in a world of excellence. This is the Chaser Report.
Hello and welcome to the Chaser Report with Dom and Charles. Hello, Charles.
Hello, Dom.
Look, big news broke, I'm going to say yesterday morning, in the pretense that we're recording this at 5 a.m. today.
Yes.
Big news broke yesterday morning with Joe Biden cancelling the trip to Australia. He's not coming. Mr. President.
Huge blow for Albo.
Huge blow for Albo. And not only is his visit cancelled, the whole quad. The rest of India don't want to come. Japan don't want to come. It's like if Joe's not coming to your party, we're not coming. Look, we'll get on to the President's visit and a fascinating story involving our old friend Scott Morrison right after this.
Scott Morrison. We don't want people to turn off. Just don't plug Scott Morrison for it.
There may not. I can't promise them there's no Scott Morrison. They'll sue.
So they're all going to miss out on the opportunity to see Albo. I thought Albo was the main attraction. I thought Biden was the
He's going to take them down to Marrickville, take them to some craft breweries. He was going to take him to the council house.
It sort of it's like when you organise a party and you've got someone more popular on the guest list and then they pull out.
And it's like it wasn't really about visiting Australia, was it? It was about Biden.
That's so
access to Biden.
Embarrassing.
But you know what's really embarrassing?
What?
Is that Biden said, of course you can come here. So it's like, I don't want to come to you, but if you want to rock up, that's fine.
So wait a minute. His argument is he doesn't have any time.
No.
But he will have a party at his house. Yeah, I don't have the time to come to your party.
I can't get to your party, but we're going to have some people over later. Just drop in. Drop in sometime. That's fine.
That feels like sort of a diss. So why isn't Biden coming? Like, what's the...
The reason is, as I understand it, because he has to deal with yet another debt cliff thing. This is this crazy thing that happens in American politics where the Republicans... pretend that they're not going to authorise the US economy going into more debt, the US government going into more debt.
And isn't the whole role of the president during all these bluffs to call the bluff and pretend that you're not really worried about it?
That's what he's been doing. It's actually been a bit of a different strategy. He's actually saying, go ahead. The American taxpayers will blame you, but it's not a good look for him to be out of America while there's this massive, completely avoidable crisis.
But what about, what better way to call the bluff than to go, sorry, I was not even paying attention, I'm over in Australia.
Sorry, can't hear you.
Yeah.
Can't hear you.
Sorry.
Can't hear, I'm in Australia.
Enjoying the craft brewery in Marrickville.
Yeah. Maybe he just thought, maybe he didn't want to go to Marrickville. Maybe he did some Googling and went, it's supposed to be one of the coolest places in the world.
Do you think maybe it's because DJ Albo offered
to spin some
discs?
Oh, no.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's what it probably is. Albo, you got to stop with the DJing.
Or do you think it's that Biden was scared of meeting Penny Wong? I mean...
Could be what it was.
There's so many reasons. I feel like the debt ceiling is just a pretext.
It's a pretext.
Yes.
Maybe he wanted to put off his visit until he could attend the most important event in Australia this century.
Oh, yes.
The opening of the Tasmania Stadium, of course. He wouldn't want to come too early.
I reckon it's the opposite. I reckon he was so upset about the announcement of the Hobart Stadium.
Oh, like those Tasmanian Liberals.
Yes, that he decided to just...
Punish Albo.
Punish Albo.
People in Tasmania can't get houses and giving them a stadium.
Yes,
he'd be right across Tasmanian politics, wouldn't he? This was also going to be the first trip by a sitting US president to Papua New Guinea.
Oh.
And that's off now.
So maybe that's the real snub. Maybe
I think so, because it's never happened. We're collateral damage.
We're collateral damage.
Actually, that's what it would have been. You can't tell me. He wanted to make history. Like, Nixon went to China.
Yes.
I think, was it Obama who went to Vietnam for a lot of historic business. Where's left to go? Well, Mr. President, PNG. Trump went to North Korea, didn't he?
You can go and see the sights of Port Moresby.
Well, he met with North Korea, didn't go to North Korea. Yeah, and Port Moresby, you can go and check it out.
Port Moresby awaits.
Bougainville's there.
Yeah.
And so we were the tack on, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Yeah. So we shouldn't be that offended.
We were probably there so that he could get into the right time zone, get some rest, get over his jet lag.
That's what it would have been.
Before going to PNG.
But also, the other thing that he'd be disappointed about, he was going to address the Australian Parliament. I don't know, you probably recall a joint sitting. And Stuart Robert was planning to resign before that was going to happen. He's not even going to be there for that. Stuart Robert. Imagine Biden's disappointment.
That's another. Yeah, it's sort of like cancelling.
Brother Stewie's not going to be at the party. I can't get there.
Yeah. Do you think maybe it's because Scott Morrison will be there, and he doesn't
reputational risk?
He doesn't want to bump into Scott Morrison. That could be it.
We're going to talk about that as well. So this is a fascinating moment, Charles. Should we get onto this now? Or?
Yeah, let's.
Because this is another bit of fascinating news. It begins with a scandal. A certain consulting firm, I think, had a major hiring dilemma in the past little while.
This is what
right. I've heard. I've heard that it was really quite challenging. A very high-profile person who might well be able to use their contacts to attract new business, new clients. And yet, Charles, that person was Scott Morrison.
Yes.
Do you know more about what happened?
Well, from what I've heard, so the thing is, PWC, which has in the last 48 hours been thrown into turmoil, not because of the Scott Morrison thing, but because it's been revealed that they shared confidential tax information with all the... They basically were employed by the government to stop tax avoidance, and then within hours of getting that information from the government, they then shared it with all their clients to help them avoid tax.
Yeah, so this is just to be clear on it is, the government has been essentially outsourcing, this is what happened under the Morrison government, outsourcing much of the public services function to very expensive consultants. I know some people who've worked in this, charging massive amounts of money on the assumption that they did a better job.
Yes, that's right.
So they got this privileged information and immediately leaked it to their clients, thereby completely undermining the whole point of the exercise, which was to raise more tax revenue.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
So not only was it a breach of confidentiality, it was actually stealing effectively money from taxpayers. Like this was money that they would have had to pay in new taxes that they avoided.
Yes.
What a fucked thing to do.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but the whole way these consulting firms work is... You have to trust that they won't then spread the information they get because you're divulging the most intimate details of your own business or government or whatever to these firms, that they won't then spread them to the rest of the industry, right? Their entire business model is trust. So it's become a global scandal for PWC.
And I used to work for consulting firms when I was very young. And you know the term that they use internally?
Chinese walls.
Chinese walls,
yes.
Which I've always found very confusing because aren't Chinese walls traditionally made of bamboo and thereby completely, transparent? Well, largely translucent and very flimsy. That seems to be an appropriate analogy.
Yeah.
No, but it's shocking, and this is what happens. So you'll have occasionally, for instance, only very occasionally, but you'll have the same firm advising two competitors, right?
Yes.
And so you have to trust that they're so ethical that they can basically play both sides of the table with different teams.
Yes. So the thing is, I think we can say with absolute certainty that the governance of PWC was rotten from the top. You know, the top guy in Australia has actually resigned in the last 48 hours. He was rotten at the top, incredibly ethically and morally compromised. Scott Morrison was put up for a job there.
Yes.
And PWC went, no, sorry, you're not for us.
On the basis that there was too much reputational risk.
Yes.
Which is...
And look, I've got a bit of inside information, which is that apparently Scott Morrison didn't just, throw his hat in the ring. He had references from 5 top ministers.
Also, you hire Scott Morrison, you're not just getting one job.
Yeah, you're not getting one.
He could have performed many roles.
5 for 1.
5 for the price of 1.
Actually, are we absolutely dead set sure that he hasn't already appointed himself head of PWC secretly
I presume
anyway?
He was the CEO who had to resign.
Yeah,
it will all come out. Yeah. I just put PWC Morrison into a browser, Charles.
Oh, yes.
And I've got to say, speaking of reputational risk, PWC were paid $11.4 million for guess which Morrison government project in 2021. Guess what they were part of?
Oh, it wasn't the app, was it? COVID Safe app?
No, it wasn't the COVID Safe app.
It wasn't car parks?
It wasn't car parks.
It wasn't that rural funding for the North Sydney pool.
Do you remember the thing that
Sorry,
happened?
which scan? It's so hard to go through all the scans.
Do you remember the thing that happened in 2021 that arguably directly led to us being fucking locked down?
The vaccine
stroll out.
fuck up, yeah.
They were part of the stroll out. They had a 12-month contract for management support of the vaccine program from 2020, and it was kept secret until August that PWC was part of this. So arguably PWC owed Morrison, and even then,
they went, nah.
You scratch your back,
Mate,
or scratch.
yeah.
They thought he was too toxic. He was too toxic to work for them. Imagine being Scott Morrison at this point.
Do you reckon if he went to Chernobyl and offered to clean up, they go, sorry, too contaminated? Like, what? Where is he going to get a job? Because apparently this is a problem, right? Like,
Fukushima comes to mind.
Yeah, he's kicking the tires.
Well, this is the thing: is that he would already have left. This is the thing that's going to be very interesting. Is it's widely assumed, the rumours are out there, that if he can only find a cushy job to keep Jenny and the girls, it's all about Jenny and the girls in the lifestyle which they've become accustomed, he would have left already, and there'd be another by-election in Cook. And imagine if that, you'd think there'd be a good chance of that going to a Teal or even to Labor.
My information is Dutton wanted a Super Saturday, get them all out of the way at the same time. But Morrison hasn't quite landed a job yet, and the one place that is likely to hire him is, defence contractor.
Yeah.
Because he appointed himself defence minister, he has an 18-month... There's a ban on him from...
because he knows all the privileged...
Yeah, he's got to not have been in the position for 18 months, which means he's waiting till the end of the year, and he's just taking the taxpayer money till the end of the year.
That seems
rather
unfair.
than jumping in a more efficient manner when Dutton wanted him to go.
I think that's very unfair, Charles, to Scott Morrison. Because what did he do as defence minister? I mean,
yeah, no, exactly.
You're punishing him for a position in which he did literally nothing, despite holding it for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the point where the non-compete or whatever it is, or the privileged information thing, isn't he going to get snapped up by someone from AUKUS? Because one of the things he can claim, if you're going to be fair to Scott Morrison's legacy, and I think this is going to become, this may turn sour down the track, but AUKUS was his thing. He was the genius that came up with, let's give untold billions of dollars to either the UK or the US to be better mates with them.
Well, and this is the rumour, is that it's a UK defence contracting firm that's going to pick him up. And all he had to do, imagine having to pay someone $368 billion in order to get a job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, John Barilaro didn't quite manage it.
Yeah.
But no, you would think that there actually should be, you shouldn't ever be allowed to work in that field. Like having been part of that deal, maybe 5 years.
No, never. It's just a total corruption.
Yeah, I would have thought never.
Yes.
Would be
if you had any morals or integrity, but unfortunately, yeah.
I mean, this is why I have to say, full credit to Malcolm Turnbull, right, who is so rich that he doesn't need to do this.
Yeah, that's right.
I think he didn't go and get a job with the hedge fund anyway, just for the hell of it, like KKR or someone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he did just because he could.
Because he could,
Yeah.
Look, I think the whole thing for Scott Morrison about working for a defence contractor is if your whole business model is to just murder people, then I suspect you're not worried too much about reputational risk. They're not going to have any of the sort of PWC issues in hiring him.
Surely there's a very neat solution to this.
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't he just work for PWC now? I mean, don't they deserve each other in a sense?
That's right. Actually, that should be PWC's punishment.
What's
Yes.
Where's the reputational risk now?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard which of the two of them would suffer worst from the association at this point?
Yes, I love it.
Scott Morrison, CEO, CFO, Chief Content Officer, Chief Creative Officer, Chief Risk Officer.
Yeah.
All of the C-suite jobs, Scott Morrison. He can put the C in PWC. He is a total C.
Kill 5 birds with 1 stone.
Yep. There he goes. Mission accomplished. Scott, out you go. Let's have a by-election in Cook. Enjoy PWC.
Our gear is from Rode. We're part of the Iconoclast Network. Get you tomorrow.
And we do not receive money from or work for PWC, although if they want to pay us, we have no ethics.
And also, happy to take defence contractor ads.
Yeah, and Scott Morrison, if you want a job, get in touch.
Yeah.
Our standards are low. Actually, I think even Scott Morrison wouldn't work with us.
I think there would be a reputational risk.
To him.
Yeah.
Yeah.